Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the channel, and today I'll be doing game week 17 Premier League predictions. So let's get into it. Before I get into the video, I want to say, so I'd like you guys to subscribe. I think there's only like 20% of people who are watching my videos who are actually subscribed. I mean, come on guys. We need to get those numbers up. It would be much appreciated from me if we can get more subs before the start of 2025. And I know there will be more. There'll be different types of content, especially like AFL and even a bit of cricket. And also, as you're watching this, I have changed the logo with the Cole Palmer logo, or like with the Cole Palmer logo. It kind of looks like I'm a soccer channel, but I don't want to be a soccer channel or a football channel. Yeah. So I've changed it. Rate it down below if you want. So first game, we do have Aston Villa taking on Man City. Aston Villa in 7th and Man City in 5th. Aston Villa coming off an away crushing defeat against Nottingham Forest when they were 1-0 up in the dying minutes and lost it 2-1 to Nottingham Forest. I think they would have to be in the box seat to win this one, Aston Villa, because I think at home, Man City in their last 11 games, they've only won 1, and they've lost 8 out of their last 11. If you said that to me at the start of the season, I do not think that Man City would be 8 losses out of 11. And so, yeah, Man City, they come off a disappointing loss against Manchester United, but they were also 1-0 up and lost 2-1, thanks to basically Amad Diallo got Manchester United the win almost for them. But yeah, players are out of form. Everything's just falling into place for this team of Man City, and I think they have to be out of the title race if they don't win. And I'm gonna go with a 2-1 Villa. I think Villa at home, they'll be buzzing for this one. They can actually think they can do Man City like they did last year, 1-0. And I think Aston Villa will get the job done, 2-1. Next up, we do have West Ham taking on Brighton, and West Ham are in 14th, Brighton are in 9th. You'd think for West Ham they'd have to win this game. Lopetegui's in big trouble already, and he'd be under absolute massive scrutiny if he doesn't win this one, or even loses. They came off a draw against Bournemouth, away from home last time out. I think that's a good result for West Ham, but I saw that they were 1-0 up, so maybe it was a disappointing one for them. And so, yeah, West Ham, they've been absolutely disappointing this season. Let's be honest with ourselves. You know, they brought in all those players like Fulkrug. You know, Kudus was going to get better. They brought in Wan-Bissaka, and it hasn't really clicked this season as of yet. And and also Lopetegui probably is a better manager than Moyes, but I'd say that they would be regretting that. And so on the other side of it, we do have Brighton, who actually had a great start to the season. I think they were 4th at one stage, but now their season's going down an absolute train wreck. It is just derailing. It is absolutely derailing. They are in need of wins. They're currently 9th spot. They lost at home to Crystal Palace, which I think is a team they should be beating, especially at home. But I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. I think both teams will come out, and you know maybe they're not feeling the 3 p.m. kickoffs. And yeah, I think this one will be a draw, 1-1. Next up, we do have Ipswich taking on Newcastle, and both teams are in desperate need for a win. Ipswich need a win to try and at least bridge the gap with the relegation zone, and that also Newcastle need a win because they're currently 12th. That is I cannot believe Newcastle are 12th. But I think they've been very inconsistent this year, just like a few other teams I'm going to mention a little bit later. But you know, Ipswich they had a bad start to the season, But they did get a massive win last week against Wolves, an absolute massive lifeline in the last minute. It was massive for them. But and then on the flip side, Newcastle, they won 3-1 in the Carabao Cup, and you think they need to win this one. And also last time out in the league, they won 4-0 against Leicester, and so I think they will win this game, and I think it'll be a 3-2 win for Newcastle. Next up, we do have Brentford versus Nottingham Forest, and this I think could be a high quality game where Brentford have got the most. If you're basing off home games this season, Brentford actually have the best amount of points, and they've scored the most amount of goals at home this season. But they're coming up against the Nottingham Forest side, who are good defensively and are actually above Man City. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? But also, Brentford, they also lost in the Carabao Cup to Newcastle, and they lost the last time out in the league against Chelsea, and they were both away from home. And on the flip side, Nottingham Forest, they've had an unreal season to start off. You couldn't think of a better season for Nottingham Forest so far. But they did get a successful win against Aston Villa at home with a 2-1 win versus Aston Villa. But I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think Brentford know how to score goals, but Brentford also know how to concede a lot of goals. So it's probably just the main basis of that, really. Next up, we do have Crystal Palace and Arsenal. Crystal Palace are currently in 15th and Arsenal currently in 3rd. Crystal Palace have actually improved over the last couple of weeks. They did beat Brighton 3-1 and also beat Ipswich away from home 1-0. And I think they'll have a lot of confidence going into this game because Arsenal, they've not been as good in recent weeks, but obviously they are still the far superior team on paper. And on the flip side of it, Arsenal, if they need to win this game, if they want to be in contention with Chelsea and Liverpool, they are 4 points behind Chelsea and 6 points behind Liverpool with the game, and Liverpool have a game in hand. So this is massive for Arsenal. But I think they can grind it out. Arsenal usually get these sort of results, and I'm going to go with 1-0 to Arsenal away from home. I think it'll be a big result for Arsenal for them to get it. Moving on to another game, and is Everton taking on Chelsea. And so comparing the two sides, you think Chelsea would win this, but I think Everton can potentially get a result here. Hopefully not. But so comparing to the start of the season for Everton, they have absolutely changed their mentality. It feels like over the last couple of weeks they've just had that mentality where, we don't really want to lose. Instead of the mentality at the start of the season where it felt like they were pretty much losing every game. All the players looked like they didn't want to play for the team. I could be wrong, but I could be right as well. They did come off a draw against Arsenal at the Emirates, 0-0. I think that'd have been happier out of the two sides. But then on the flip side, I know I'm going to sound really biased here, but Chelsea, we're currently full of confidence, coming off a 5-1 win against Shamrock Rovers with our second team in the Conference League with Mark Guiu getting the hat-trick. But I don't think he's going to play this game, even though he scored a hat-trick. We did beat Brentford 2-1 at home in the Premier League, and we could potentially go first, depending on if we win this game, and also Liverpool slipping up. And I'm going to sound really biased, but hopefully this can happen. 2-1. I'm going 2-1 to Chelsea. I think it'll be harder than what we probably think it's going to be, but I still got the confidence that we can grind it out with a Chelsea win. Come on. Next up, we do have Manchester United taking on Bournemouth, and Manchester United, they've had an absolute shock of a season. They just got eliminated in the Carabao Cup 4-3 against Spurs. But also, they did just beat Man City. But Man City have been in bad form at the moment. But still, a win's a win for Man United. But I think that Man United game that Man City game for Manchester United will give him a lot of confidence, especially with that late comeback that I don't really think that they deserve. But they still got the 3 points. That's all that matters. And I think they'd be wanting to get a win out of this one against Bournemouth. Even though Bournemouth are currently sixth, they've pretty much had the opposite season to Manchester United. They've been playing really well this year. They're currently sixth spot. Manchester United in 13th. They came off a draw at home to West Ham, which I think they'll be pretty disappointed about. But they could potentially go to fifth, above Manchester City. Who would have thought that at the start of the season? But I am going to go with a Manchester United win. It's not really controversial. It's a bit boring. But I'm going to go with Manchester United to win 1-0. Next up, we do have Leicester taking on Wolves. Leicester are currently 17th and Wolves are currently 19th. Under Van Nistelrooy, Leicester have actually looked quite okay, even though they did drop a game 4-0 against Newcastle. But apart from that, Van Nistelrooy's actually played well with these guys so far. I would have to say, considering what type of situation they were in when Steve Cooper did leave. And on the flip side, Wolves, they've been absolutely shocking this year. Gary O'Neill did get sacked because he lost to Ipswich at home 2-1. Yeah, he got sacked after that. And I think they did appoint a manager. I don't know what his name is, but he obviously we got to wish him the best of luck, but he's got a crap ton of work to do with that Wolves side. Wolves are an absolute mile off of what they used to be, really. And it's disappointing, but I'm going to go with a 1-0 Leicester win. I think at home they'll capitalise on Wolves, and I think that they'll get the win. Next up, we do have Fulham taking on Southampton. Fulham are currently in 8th or 9th, and Southampton are currently in 20th. I think this should be an easy win for Fulham. Fulham have actually got off to a good start to the season. I think they did draw to Liverpool. And I feel like they'll be a bit disappointed considering they didn't take advantage of the extra man they had. I think they lost 2-1 after half time or something, or maybe I don't know. But this should be better. This should be way better for Fulham. Southampton, I think less said about their season, the better. I've even heard people like Rory Jennings say that that Southampton might be the worst side, are probably going to most likely be the worst Premier League side ever. And I honestly tend to agree. They are an absolute shambles. Conceding 5 goals to an out-of-form Tottenham in the first half, that is... I could not have the pain of being a Southampton supporter. And I'm gonna inflict the pain more onto them, and I'm gonna say 5-1 to Fulham. I think it'd be an absolute drubbing at Craven Cottage. Next up, and as a final game of the game week, we have Tottenham taking on Liverpool, and this is probably the biggest game of the round. Let's be honest, or the biggest game of the game week. Yeah, so Tottenham, they've been very up and down this year. They did beat a woeful Southampton side 5-0, and also did beat Manchester United in the Carabao Cup. So maybe they have turned the corner, but you don't know which Tottenham's going to turn up. Honestly, they could genuinely go out there and beat Liverpool. I'm not even joking. But also they could get absolutely destroyed 6 or 7-0 by Liverpool. And I'm not even joking in saying that, even though it's at their home ground. And then on the flip side of it, Liverpool, I don't think there's been any real gaps of them. Maybe over the last couple of weeks, there probably has been a couple of slip-ups from them. But I think apart from that, they've had no signs of inconsistency or anything like that in their team. Maybe if you can improve one position, it's probably the left back in Robertson. But I think that's really it. I don't even think he's that bad, Robertson. But I am gonna go with a bit of a surprise. I'm gonna go with 2-2. I think Tottenham they'll go up. They'll be ready for the game, and I think that they will bring up the test to Liverpool, and I don't think Liverpool might be able to match them. I think they will get a draw at Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. Thank you all for watching. I hope you'll enjoy the video. Be sure to like and subscribe, and maybe even share it to someone who hasn't seen the videos or the content before, and see if they enjoy. So I feel it's really appreciative if you could watch this whole video, but I know probably people won't be able to. But yeah, thank you all for watching. I hope you'll enjoy the video, and I'll see you in the next one. And also check out the video that YouTube does recommend you to watch.